Hi, I'm Greg,
And I'm Jodine.
and together we're the partners in Lifeology. We've decided to put a video together because we get quite a few questions about how our particular partnership works. Some people actually can't picture us as partners. We've had that comment. We've also had some people say, "Are you still partners?"
Yeah.
during during Lifeology's lifetime. And then we've had questions about how we make it work and why it works. So we thought we would throw this video together for you.
We've also had people say, how can you possibly be friends?
Because you are so different.
Because we are so different, and because we've just the way that our lives have shifted and who we've morphed into, people don't seem to figure out how we put all of our pieces together. And I think it's so important that we do mention that this all started with friendship first. So the basis of this incredible partnership is friendship. And ironically, they do say for a good marriage, you should be friends first. So obviously for a good partnership like this, it's important to be friends first. It's definitely been important for us to have established that friendship and then to fall back on that friendship in times when, because sometimes we just need to lean in to each other. And it's for me, that's been so important the whole time.
And I think it's also about how you define that friendship. I think people sometimes have the impression that friends do everything together, and that's not necessarily the elements of friendship we're referring to here. Here it's about an understanding of each other, an empathy towards each other, and the idea of give and take on a very personal level. Those are the qualities of friendship I think about when I think about the two of us.
Me too. And I think so there's a lot of people who know our story, but there's some who are going to be picking this up or haven't seen us before. And for me, the biggest thing in our friendship was knowing that there was going to be distance, separation between the two of us, thousands and thousands of like miles apart, when you made such a brave decision to move to the UK, and for me to know that my heart and my roots are in South Africa. It was a big thing to watch how our friendship just morphed with this distance between us, and actually we've become closer, just so much closer through the years over time.
Yeah, because it hasn't mattered to any great extent that we can't really socialize together because that never really worked out much anyway.
It didn't. I was usually tagging along behind you and then had a terrible time and just wanted to go home.
Exactly.
So. And that is, it's because our personalities are so deeply different. And especially as we've gotten older, it's also shifted so much.
Yeah,
which we're so grateful for.
Yeah. And a lot of that we can see through our archetypical makeup.
Yeah,
a lot of this dates back to when we first did the archetypes course. In fact, I did it with a friend of yours at the time, who was my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And you had just done the course, hadn't you? And you were co-teaching it.
Yes. So it was my first experience of being on the other side of it and now teaching it. But my archetypes were so fresh to me. I was really in a space of trying to figure myself out at that time when we met. Really.
Yeah. And I think that's what drew us together, because I also was super curious about all these things I was learning about myself and this tool that I just discovered. And you were trying to work things out for yourself, and we started talking so much, and and discussing things and getting together and comparing our wheels and seeing how the different archetypes are interacting with each other in each house. And that was both a fun experience, but also a great way of getting to know you.
And I think it's, for me, one of the most important things is that I admittedly was so broken in like real places in my life at that time. And the thing that for me bonded that friendship was your ability to tell the truth to me and get me to see some things in myself that I really needed to shift and work on. And then I know how that's been such an incredible foundation for the two of us. And, you know, I mean, obviously, all of this is because whatever we've done, we've put into lifeology, and it's so much of the part of the teachings that we have now. So in friendships and in partnerships and relationships, one of the big things that people do is they say, I didn't want to say this to you because I didn't want to hurt you. And we have learned that that's not how truth works in a friendship, in a partnership, in any way.
No, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that whole thing of, this is my truth, I have to speak it, and actually I'm not that powerful that I can impact how you respond to my truth anyway.
Yeah. Even when I've commented on your hair,
yes,
it's been truthful. It's something you needed to hear.
And I didn't listen to you anyway. I went back to doing it. But on a more serious note, some of the places where we've really helped each other is in relationships with other people. We've really figured out, you know, we've had our time, and it's been in both unhealthy friendships and like intimate relationships, and in work and partnership, where we've actually had to like hold the space for each other. We were both engaged and just looked at each other like, who are you engaged to? But held that space for each other until the other person figured it out for themselves, you know?
Yeah.
While still being truthful. You know what? That's where one of lifeology's key things got triggered. That asking yourself that question, what if nothing changes? Through our friendship, we have asked each other so many times, what if nothing changes?
Yeah.
And that's been that catalyst to shift so many things.
Sure. And then that's also come through into our work lives and working together, because it's also about that truth, and also about what if nothing changes. Is this what you want to be doing on a day-to-day basis all the time?
Yep.
Or should we be looking at something else? And that has resulted in some major shifts in our business without ever losing our direction.
Yes.
Which is something I still marvel at. And I know that I've co-created that journey with you, but I still look back and I go, it's amazing that so much has happened. We've tried so many different avenues, so many different products. Some have worked, some haven't. Yet we've always shared this common path, this common journey that we on. And we agreed that,
right.
What is it, 11 years ago, and that has never shifted.
Absolutely. That's that compass that we know we just got to follow, and then we just keep on trusting and going off the avenues and coming back together. But what we've mastered so well in this partnership is to acknowledge each other's strengths and to allow each other to blossom into our individual strengths, or to support each other when we haven't seen the strengths. I mean, do you remember in the beginning when I was sitting on the opposite side of the table and crying and saying, I have no way of figuring out how to market us at all, that we needed to call external people in to help us. And then and you wouldn't let up. You just wouldn't let up. And you saw that in me way before I had the ability to see it with myself. And now it's like one of my great things to do is just come up with these different ideas and flow with it. It even became an extension of lifeology into the social media space that we expanded into.
It's so important when we talk of empathy. A large part of empathy is being patient with the other person when they're not getting it. And you gave an example there, but I know how you exercise tremendous patience with me too, for the same reasons. You can see tremendous potential. You know what I'm capable of, and I've just got this block at the time, and I just believe I can't do it. And you nudge, and when you can see that I'm pushing back in a hard way, you just back off for a while, and then nudge a little later, and that's beautiful,
Yeah.
both in the friendship and in the workspace.
We've definitely never made. Actually, that's not true. So we do need to tell a story, because we have pushed each other so deeply into a corner that we thought we might break.
Yeah.
But the action and the way that we handled it was so incredible, because we literally took that moment, and the essence of the moment is that we each tapped into each other's deep vulnerability, the place that we didn't want to go, in the brave space of business and of figuring ourselves out on another level. And then we just really clashed up against each other. And I must admit that you're the one who figured out what to do to get all of those pieces to click together.
And I remember that. I remember that time in our friendship, and it was really tricky, because I actually remember not wanting to speak to you. This wasn't just for a few hours or a few days. I think this was weeks, where I did not even want to talk to you. I can't actually remember the exact reasons, but I remember that feeling very, very strongly. And every time I spoke to you, I was just on edge and grumpy, and I think we were both growling at each other.
So the context is important, because you saw in me my bravery to handle important business conversations when the client wanted to re-sign contracts, and you were doing other change management work, and now the social media space was happening, and I wanted you to have the conversation with the social media client, because it was all about money and new contracts. And I'll never forget what I said to you. I even remember where I'm standing. I said to you, what's the partnership for if you don't step up and do this for me? Is it coming back to you now?
Wow. Okay.
Do you remember that?
I don't actually remember you saying that.
That was exactly what, and you were so upset with me, and you didn't want to speak to me. You didn't want to speak to me. I remember, we can cut all the details out, but I was standing at the... I had to go and renegotiate with, and you wouldn't help me. And you kept on saying to me, I don't know the client. You know the client. You're the one who's got to have this communication.
I do remember that now. Yeah.
And I was
okay. Yeah.
And I literally felt completely abandoned. I literally felt like you had thrown me in the deep end and basically said to me, like, sink or swim. And I was like, but then what are you here for then? I can just figure the rest of my life out by myself. I don't need you. But it was because I was so petrified. I was so petrified to have the responsibility to make that call, because if the client had rejected that, then we would have lost the client. And then it just tapped into my money stuff, which you knew and understood. But that was the essence of what happened.
Right. Yeah, but I think once I got over the emotional side, I saw that there was tremendous value in our friendship and partnership, and then that's what led to coming up with a solution.
Yes.
And you know, and I think it's also important to put out there that yes, our tools and our products tap into all sorts of levels of consciousness, and some might see some of them as quite esoteric, but we also resort to very practical things often. And that was a very practical solution, where we were just two people that could not see eye to eye, and we just kept bashing against each other. And so I saw that actually we needed a mediator.
Yes.
We needed somebody in who I knew that we both trusted, And yeah, so we called in somebody who had tremendous experience in HR circles, and we did, I think it was the MBTI, the
Yes,
Myers-Briggs together. And
yes.
then she spoke us
Oh,
through that whole process, and all of a
oh,
sudden, I looked at you in a completely different way, and I just went, oh, it makes so much sense now. Okay, I got you, and then I could empathize once again.
absolutely. And we have never, ever been in a situation like that again. And this was years and years ago. I mean, it was close to the beginning, like in our third year of business, third or fourth year of business. I also, and when we talk to each other today, we still know those things that we learned about each other in those moments. We
Mm,
know how to speak to each other. That was one of the greatest gifts that you gave this partnership and this friendship, really. It was amazing work.
that's good.
Mm.
Good. But we've done a lot of work together to understand each other. So far, we've mentioned the archetypes course
Mm.
that we did together and then worked on. We've spoken about the MBTI, but we also have those truth-telling moments when we do tarot readings on birthdays
Yes,
and New Year's.
yes.
Um, it's sometimes been very difficult when I know for me, I can only speak for me, but when I'm looking at your cards and I'm seeing something and I have to just mention it, and I'm so nervous how you're going to react, and I just have to throw it out. And there have been some moments where it's been a little explosive emotionally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I remember one year we decided to do it with a third person. Oh, with a third party when we were overseas. Well, that didn't. We just couldn't. I could just feel it was such a mess. It was just.
Yeah.
That's also a time when people don't understand us. That was a perfect example of people of not being understood, because we do have the ability to have a look at a tarot spread for each other, or look at our numerology and understand us deeply, each other deeply, like through our numerology and through our astrology. We know that about ourselves. And then to call each other out, I mean, you just, at that reading, you literally went, oh, that card's come up again. We haven't resolved that area in your life. You're still broken right there.
Well, I hope you've done something about it now.
If it's in the spread for 2021, I don't know. It wasn't there for 2020. So that's good.
Oh, good.
Something.
Yes, yes. Earlier you spoke about strengths, didn't you? About how we have such different strengths,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to say to that what's also been key is having faith in the other person's strengths. That's because it's something I had to learn, and I remember uh, be, before even meeting you, one of the criticisms of me as a manager or a project manager was always that I don't delegate enough, which is essentially a trust issue, right? It's a
Right.
control and a trust issue. And so here I then partnered with you, who has this amazing feeling energy that just wants to do something because it feels right. And I was always like, but I don't understand. Explain it to me. I don't, and you couldn't, because it was based on a feeling. You just knew that it was the right thing to do. And it took a long time for me to actually just get to settle into that and just be comfortable and have faith that actually that feeling is right, because it always is. And that's what I had to learn, that with you, that feeling was always right. And I didn't have to understand it
Yeah.
in order to gain that faith. I just had to give you the opportunity to do it. And then I saw the results.
And I'm so grateful that you you did and that you have, because when things, it's flipped so much now that when things do shift, and 2020 has really been a time for us where I've had to pick up the phone and be in these spaces where the gut feelings have really been difficult. Or I've felt like I'm about to make the decision that at the moment feels right. You now know me so well and have understood so well that you even pick up that I'm making a bad decision before I pick up that I'm making not a bad decision, a fear-based decision, a decision that's too much in the mind. So that's how much it's shifted, is that now you catch me in the times where I could be going down that space of I've just completely put it too much in the head and I'm thinking about it too much. And now there's this distinct difference between me saying I'm running with this and we both feel it, even though you don't have all the building blocks in place, and me going, I'm running with it, and you going, no, I can literally feel that is coming from a space that is not, it's not sitting within you. I can see it and I can feel it. That's been an amazing shift.
Yeah. And but sometimes when you're running with something in a high esteem, it does cause panic for me and how I operate, because you just go, I've got an idea, and off you go, and I'm like, oh, hold on, but where's the systems? Where's the process? How does that fit into how we currently do things? What are you going to tell people? Is there an email for that? Where's the planner?
So that is where I'm so grateful for you. And I know that behind your back, I say it a lot to a lot of people. I'm like, I'm doing this, and this, and then I go, and Greg's making it happen in the background. And that is where you and I are so dynamic, is because you take the stuff that is just wafting within my mind that I know can be something beautiful and creative, and you literally put the structure, you make it happen. I don't make it happen. I show up and I keep doing my thing. But the fact that the world sees it, the fact that the world can pay for any of the services that we actually have, or can book for anything that I decide to do, that's all. And I love watching you do that. I know you get frustrated with yourself, but I actually love watching you do that. And I just have to share that a couple of months ago, I don't think you realized the time, but we sat on video like this, and I don't even know what I was there for. You phoned me, you called me, and you needed to ask me a question or two, and you were working, and we were online, and you didn't tell me that I didn't need to be online. You had a question here and a question there, and you just worked. You just made all these things happen. And I literally spent that, I'm telling you, it was an hour and a half, just watching you work and figure stuff out. And you'll figure it out. And that's why I know I have to take a step back and say that you have asked me, and I try so hard not to throw 20 ideas at you at a time, because you'll want to see how you can make all those 20 ideas happen. I hope I'm getting that right in just pacing it more. But I do know that I can come up with something and I can say, first of all, what do you think? And you instinctively know whether I'm coming in from high or low esteem, which is beautiful. And then I just watch it tick. I just watch your mind go. And I just know that I get to sit back in my own way of sitting back, because you know what I'm doing in the background while you're doing your thing. You know that I'm doing mine. But all these pieces just clip into place. It might be frustrating, but they clip into place.
And that works now, because also I took some of the pressure off myself and decided all we need is a little ideas pot.
Yes.
That we can pop those in, and then I can visit them when I'm ready. And that then suits my personality much better. I think it was not having it recorded that I felt the pressure that, in order to remember to do it, I had to get it done now, and that's when it just became so overwhelming, because you do have these storms of ideas, and they're good ideas, and that's what gets me excited. I mean, if I didn't think they were good ideas, I would just carry on doing whatever I was doing. But they're great ideas, and I'm like, I want to do them. I want to do them, and I'm like, oh, how do I do all of this? I've got so much on my plate. I just had to work out how to do that, and now it works. It works nicely.
And I've also had to work out that not everything needs to come to life so quickly. And for me, it's a beautiful place to say that behind the scenes through the majority of 2020, and I know it popped up from a conversation that you and I had, and I really wanted to create a lesson teaching content, and where was it going to sit. And I mean, we've launched this completely revamped website that's incredible now, and it was this flat website that had nothing, and it's now completely e-commerce, and you can buy courses, and it's just incredible. And I know it's been blood, sweat, and tears at the back for you, but what we've created together, for me, I'm so flippin' proud of.
Yeah, no, I am proud too. Yeah, because there's this, and because it comes from your very creative ideas too, and also your drive to keep creating, keep innovating, which balances my steady energy that can sometimes get a little bit stuck on one thing.
And I think that's very important for people to understand in partnership, is that we understand the pace of the other person. So you've created a little box to put stuff in, and you know the pace at which I work, and never pressurize me to slow down, and I never pressurized you to do anything different. And even in the style of what we offer the world, I have 10 different services that just jump all over the place, and I know that it's going to expand into more, and you're focused in what you do. This is the pocket of what you offer the world, and I just have all these different array of things. But if we had to have an external auditor come in and just have a look at our stuff, they'd go, this partnership is completely unbalanced. There's 2 services over here from this person, and there's 7 services over here from this person. And that's what's so important in this, is the way that we've understood how each other works. And that if we had to try and make each other equal in any way, we would disrupt the perfect balance of what we have created in this equilibrium that we do have.
And I mean, what is the basis of that balance? I know you and I talk about an energy balance and energy exchange. We like that term. I like that term definitely, because for me it explains the intangible. It's so long as there's no feeling of that imbalance within either of us, then it is balanced. It's, so there's no resentment, there's no feeling or feeling of inadequacy, feeling of I need to contribute more. That's when we always need to do that, the sort of energy check, and often the responsibility sits with the individual feeling that, actually. But that's always been so important for us, and that flows through to finances too, because that's also an energy exchange. I don't know if you want to talk about that, because it's quite interesting how we've managed that through time.
We definitely have, and I think just to touch on the background is so important. Is that you come from like a stable relationship with money in growing up, and I came from such instability in my relationship with money. I wasn't taught good habits in my relationship with money, and you were taught very good, strong habits. And that's also come in and that's where we've definitely found balance in that. But there have been times when, even though Lifeology, we together are Lifeology, because we so uniquely do what we do, we actually don't partner in anything that we do. So that's something so important. The only thing we partner in doing is teaching archetypes. And from those archetypes, they'll be extended into some like collaborative coaching. The rest of the stuff, we've allowed each other to offer what we are best at into the world. And the partnership has been the energetic collaboration of what we want to bring to the world with the same thread. I feel like it's at the same thread, which is the foundation and our philosophies and everything that we teach and offer the world. But we don't partner in workshops and do all of that stuff together. And because of that, sometimes the money's flowing with you and then it's dead and dried up with me. And other times the money's flowing with me and it's dead and dried up. And then we've had beautiful moments when we're both flowing. And then we've had moments when we are not, neither of us are flowing at all. And never once, even in that major issue that we had, it was all about it was about self-esteem and self-worth and all of that. We actually never, that tangle that we had was not about money. It's never been about money. And I think it comes from our deep support in each other and respect that we know that the other person is always doing the best they can with what they've got at the time. I've never, ever in this 11 years of partnership, ever had to say to you or even had an inkling of a feeling where it's been, you need to pull your weight more. And that
we've heard other people say that about us. But we've never said it to each other. No.
I think even the accountant had a moment that was like, oh, what's going on here between the two of you? Greg, are you actually going to give her some of that money? She didn't earn it.
Yeah.
She didn't work for it. I remember that.
Yeah.
I know for me, and I'm going to take a step back before the business partnership, just the friendship. I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for our friendship, if it weren't for the truth and the honesty and the support and the mirror that you held up to me. And I know that, life, I just wouldn't be, I can't even explain. It doesn't even come into my paradigm to even try and explain what it would be. I can't even put it into words. And because of that, we are so equal energetically because we understand how the other is, how we are plugged into each other in order to create whatever we need to create. The universe had this partnership so fine-tuned, really, because of the dynamic that it is. And because of that, we never have had a moment of feeling that the one is not contributing enough. And finances have gotten very, very tight, and we can't guarantee they're not going to get tight again. And it's always about, we just figure a way. We figure a way to make sure that the other person, we hold space for each other. We literally hold the energetic space for each other.
We do. Yeah.
And I think it is important to note that if you have any of those cracks, when you do have those outside voices, you've got to watch that those cracks something will only show if there are genuine cracks between the two of you, because we've both had really, really harsh responses on either side. I've had someone say to me, I'm looking for the specific word I'm subservient to Greg. I was told that I'm subservient to Greg. We were out in the world creating our thing, and we are two very different personalities. And in that, there's certain decisions that I know that I don't have to make. Greg will make the decision, and he'll make the right decision for me. Really and truly, he will. And I just was spotted as this person who sits back and allows Greg to make all these decisions, and I tag along and follow behind like a puppy dog. And if there was a crack, then it would have, it would have filtered in somewhere and it would have festered in some way. But there's such a deep understanding. And I actually want to tell all of you this beautiful story. I do want to tell you. We were traveling with someone else. And Greg is way taller than me, way fitter than me. And this is the lightest I've been. So I've usually been a chunky traveler. And he walks ahead of me. He walks ahead of me. But I just want to tell you something. And I get emotional when I say it. He always looks back. He's always got his eye on me. No matter where we are, the crowded streets of Italy, wherever we are, he's just got his eye on me, but he's going at his pace. And then he allows me to go at my pace and we connect. And she was walking with him and then eventually fell back to walk with me and said, you choose the direction. I'm like, I never choose the direction. That's not how we travel. Greg decides where we're going. I just follow. And she took it in completely the wrong way. She didn't see that I was saying that you and I know exactly how we want to travel, what we want to see, and wherever you take me. Besides when you make me climb 800 steps and I'm so much unfitter than you, and I actually want to end the friendship when I get to the top because I think I'm going to vomit and die, which genuinely happened. But you waited at the top and you checked that I was fine. People don't get that. So that's what I get a lot of. I get a lot of that. And I also get a lot of the questions of how do you maintain the partnership and the friendship when Greg is in another country, when he's so far away? What is the point? What is the point of having this partnership when you're both completely doing your own thing? I get that a lot as well.
And to some extent, I actually understand why, because I think sometimes looking from the outside in, you're not spending too much time with us, then you can you can get that impression, because sometimes it's also how we put ourselves out into the world, and that's why it would be, that's why we're doing more together. Actually, this year we've done so many more things together, and that's because you were patient enough. But you were also patient enough to wait for me to get the courage to actually do these recordings, which for some reason took ages until it was the right time.
And we'll always be perfect in that pace. But actually, when we are together, it's so interesting because when we are together, and it's beautiful, rare moments. Like I'll meet Greg somewhere in the world, or he'll come and visit South Africa, and then it's his last day, and we're like, oh, we haven't taken a picture together. So people don't even think that we've spent a glorious week of totally indulged friendship and business partnership together, but we just don't capture it a lot of times.
Because often it's deeply supportive private time.
Yes, it's so present. We are so present with each other. Really, we are.
Yeah. Okay.
We're live.
Well, technically no, but recording has started.
You're editing this. Are we doing intros, or are we just getting in?
Do you want to throw an intro in case you want to put it like personal intros, like who we are?
Just what? I'm Jodie and I'm Greg. We're Lifeology.
Do we say we're Lifeology together?
It's cheesy. It is about partnership, and we are cheesy.
Oh God, no!
We'll never get it right.
I'm not doing that. No.
We'll never get it right.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Wait, you gotta go again. Oh, okay. Okay, go.
Hi, I'm Greg.
And I'm Jodine. And together, we got to just practice that.
And together we're
figured that out.
partners in life, Ology. Shall we just say that?
Yes. Okay. You're gonna say it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Go.
Hi.
I didn't cry.
No, you didn't. Yeah.
No, I'm emotionally matured.